Somewhere between your first mortgage and your second child reaching middle school, you notice something. Your chest is softer. Your belt notch is tighter. Your favorite t-shirt now feels ambitious. You've joined an unspoken club, the Dad Bod Society. Here's the thing. The Dad Bod isn't inevitable. It's not some rite of passage bestowed upon you at the birth of your first child. It's just physics and a little bit of neglect. Forget the crash diets and punishing workouts. Avoiding the dad bod is about adopting a few smart, repeatable habits that keep you strong and lean for life. The dad bod. Badge of honor or cry for help. At some point between your first mortgage payment and the third child's soccer game, your abs seem to have packed up and left without notice. They didn't leave a note, but if they had, it would probably read, "Sorry, mate. You stopped inviting us to the gym and started inviting beer, late-night takeaways, and chronic sleep deprivation instead. We couldn't survive in that environment. Best of luck." The so-called dad bod has been glorified in memes and defended in magazine articles. Many of the hot celebrities got one, like Leonardo DiCaprio and Chris Pratt, so it must be cool, right? Yet it's quietly feared by men in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. It's the physical manifestation of life getting in the way. A little extra padding around the midsection, a softer chest, maybe a loss of muscle tone. It's not the worst thing in the world, but for many, it's a slippery slope to declining energy, reduced health, and feeling a bit meh when the shirt comes off. The good news. Avoiding the dad bod isn't about training like you're trying to win a bodybuilding show, although the gym is involved. It's about small, consistent decisions that stack in your favor over months and years. And no, you don't have to live on chicken breast and kale. Let's break it down. Why do many men get a dad bod? Look, you're not magically cursed by fatherhood and middle age. Heck, some men get a dad bod in their 30s. What's up with that? You're in an energy surplus and losing muscle. That's it, end of mystery. In simple terms, 1 calories in, calories out equals fat gain. 2 lack of meaningful resistance training equals muscle loss. The dad bod is basically a mismatch between input and output, plus muscles slowly waving goodbye. Now, before you start blaming your metabolism, it's not. A 2021 study from Poncer and colleagues indicates that our total energy expenditure is remarkably stable between the ages of 20 and 60. So midlife weight gain is usually not a dead metabolism problem. Adult expenditures adjusted for body size and composition are remarkably stable even during pregnancy and postpartum. Poncer et al., 2021. When you become a parent or just get busier in midlife, the following tends to happen. Activity and movement drop. Our level of physical activity tends to decline with age. We skip gym sessions and we're not playing weekend sports as often, or at all. Moreover, everyday non-exercise activity thermogenesis, NEAT, activities such as walking, standing, and fidgeting tend to vary hugely between people. This can significantly impact the number of calories we burn. We're not as fit, our activity levels tend to decrease as we age and have more responsibilities. Therefore, our cardiorespiratory fitness declines. A 2005 study by Flegg and colleagues found that on average, our peak VO2 max declines by 3% to 6% per 10 years in the 20s and 30s, and then faster later. This means that the same activities burn fewer calories and feel harder. Our calories increase. Kids, leftovers, social events, easy dinners, and comfort eating after stressful days. As men age, we tend to be a lot busier and don't have as much time to prepare healthy meals. So we eat a lot more processed food. In a 2019 randomized controlled trial by Hall and colleagues, Participants on an ultra-processed diet for 2 weeks consumed an average of around 500 more calories a day than those on an unprocessed diet. A 2015 longitudinal study by Garfield and colleagues looked at the BMI in young males transitioning into fatherhood, finding that entrance into fatherhood is associated with an increase in BMI trajectory for both non-resident and resident fathers, while non-fathers exhibit a decrease over the same period. Less sleep. Poor sleep can make us feel hungrier and more prone to storing fat. Sleep and stress push appetite up. A 2004 study from Spiegel and colleagues indicates that sleep restriction in men disrupts the balance of hunger hormones, with decreased leptin levels, increased ghrelin levels, and increased hunger and appetite. Moreover, poor sleep also increases cortisol levels, which can promote the storage of body fat. Without adequate rest, our body struggles to recover and build muscle hypertrophy efficiently after workouts. A 2010 randomized controlled study by Nedelcheva and colleagues compared a group with 5 hours of sleep per night with another with 5 hours per night. The sleep-deprived group lost 60% more muscle mass and 55% less fat than the group that got adequate sleep. Muscle atrophy sneaks in. Atrophy is the wasting away of a body part, tissue, or cell, resulting in a decrease in size and function, most commonly associated with muscle tissue. A 2018 study by Wilkinson, Piasecki, and Atherton indicates that we lose approximately 1% of our muscle mass each year. They conclude that anabolic resistance is fundamental in age-related fiber atrophy. Hormones change gradually. Testosterone levels typically reach their peak during our 20s and 30s, then begin a gradual decline around the age of 40. On average, our total testosterone decreases by about 15% each year, while free and bioavailable testosterone tend to drop more rapidly, at a rate of approximately 2–3% annually. This can reduce lean mass and favor fat gain. How to avoid the dad bod. If you want to avoid or reverse the dad bod, you don't need to obsess over every gram of carbs. Instead, focus on the big, controllable factors. So who am I to tell you how to avoid a dad bod? I'm just some random guy on the internet. I'm 40 years old and still look very similar to how I did 15 years ago. People are often surprised at my age, thinking I'm around 30. I put part of that down to being fit. Muscular arms, small waist, and chiseled jawline. This is a recent selfie from the gym. And yes, I'm a dad. Here are some tips for staying in shape. 1. Lift weights like it's a non-negotiable. Resistance training is crucial. It is your best defense against muscle loss and a sluggish metabolism. You can't outrun the dad bod if you neglect muscle building. We lose muscle as we age. Resistance training builds and preserves muscle mass, which increases your basal metabolic rate, BMR, so you burn more calories at rest. Beyond that, increased muscle improves insulin sensitivity, allowing the body to use glucose more efficiently and making it less likely that calories from the same meal are stored as fat. Hit the minimum effective volume. This is training just enough to stimulate growth, but not enough to wreck your schedule. 2 or 3 sessions per week are plenty for most busy dads, which, if done right, can still give you excellent results. Put the effort in. Intensity is key. You must push yourself in the gym. I see a bunch of middle-aged men at the gym, but they are barely putting in the effort. Many people aren't training hard enough to build muscle. Turning up isn't enough, although a good start. I discuss some of the key principles of a good workout in this article. Choose an appropriate exercise split. Programming your exercise is vital to ensure you target your main muscle groups with sufficient volume to stimulate hypertrophy and maintain muscle. If you make it to the gym a few times a week, full-body workouts are your best bet. If you're going all in and hitting the gym 6 times a week, the push-pull leg split works fantastically. Focus on compound lifts with free weights. These are exercises that work multiple joints and muscle groups, such as squats, deadlift, bench presses, rows, and overhead presses. These give us our best bang for our buck. Throw in some isolation exercises and exercise machines. Isolation exercises provide more volume for our weaker muscle groups and those not maximally stimulated by compound exercises, such as the triceps and side delts. This also helps to reduce our overall fatigue generated by exercise, reducing the likelihood of recovery becoming an issue. Progressively overload by increasing the weight or repetitions you complete for each exercise over time. This is crucial for stimulating muscle growth and preventing plateaus. By consistently challenging our muscles with new demands, we force them to adapt by growing bigger and stronger. 2. Control calories. A bigger piece of the puzzle to avoiding a dad bod is how we eat. In particular, the nutritional value of our food and our total energy intake. Energy is calories. You don't need to count every calorie forever, and you don't have to become the guy who brings a food scale to barbecues. But calorie awareness goes a long way. Be conscious of the quantity and quality of food you put into your body. We tend to gain weight on a diet of highly processed foods. Try to minimize these and eat as many whole foods and fresh produce as possible. This means eating fruit and vegetables, meat, unless you're vegan-vegetarian, legumes, nuts and seeds, and whole grains such as rice and oats. Protein first. Make protein the main building block of your diet. Aim for a daily protein intake of around 1622 g per kg of body weight to optimize your ability to build and retain muscle. Protein provides numerous benefits, like helping to keep us full and protecting muscle mass during fat loss. Limit liquid calories. Drinks like soda, juice, and craft beer can quickly add hundreds of calories without making you feel full. These beverages often contain added sugars, which not only spike your calorie intake, but can also disrupt blood sugar and cause insulin spikes. In some cases, this could impair fat loss in the short term. That goes for alcohol too. It is high in calories at 7 per gram, almost double that of carbohydrates. Keep in mind that sugar is not inherently unhealthy. It is easy to overconsume, making it difficult to maintain a calorie deficit. Mind your dad's snacks. Those extra bites add up more than you think. Finishing your kids' fries or sneaking a few spoonfuls of ice cream after dinner still count toward your daily intake. By making mindful choices, you can significantly influence your body composition and avoid developing the dreaded dad bod. Don't be tempted. 80-20 approach. Eat nutrient-dense, whole foods about 80% of the time, focusing on lean proteins, veggies, fruits, and healthy fats. The other 20% allows room for some flexibility to enjoy your favorite treats or have social meals without guilt. The 20% doesn't matter so much if you nail the other 80%. Go and eat some KFC. I know this kinda contradicts my previous point, but our sanity matters. This balanced strategy supports long-term consistency without feeling overly restrictive. 3. Move more. Through regular cardiovascular exercise and staying active throughout the day, we can protect our hearts and better manage our weight. Daily neat movements such as walking, fidgeting, standing, or doing chores boost our total daily energy expenditure without structured workouts, making this a powerful and sustainable way to support fat loss. Over time, even small increases in movement can make a big difference. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis, NEAT, is the energy expended for everything that is not sleeping, eating, or sports-like exercise. It includes the energy expended walking to work, typing, performing yard work, undertaking agricultural tasks, and fidgeting. Levine, 2004. Aim for 8,000,010,000 steps per day as a practical way to stay active, support cardiovascular health, and aid in weight management by burning around 300–500 calories per day. Walking in general has a bunch of health benefits. A 2020 study by St. Morris and colleagues concluded that a greater number of daily steps was significantly associated with lower all-cause mortality. To help walk to the shop, take stairs, mow your own lawn, park at the opposite end of the car park at the supermarket, take walks during breaks at work, and walk the dog or kids. All of these little things add up. You can also add more strenuous cardiovascular activities, like jogging, cycling, swimming, or chasing your children at the park until they scream for mercy. 4. Sleep more. Sleep is probably the least sexy fitness topic, but perhaps the most important. Chronic sleep deprivation messes with appetite control, reduces training performance, and increases fat storage. You might not get 8 perfect hours, but even moving from 5 to 7 hours can improve fat loss and muscle retention. Share night duties with your partner if possible. Teamwork saves waistlines. Try to cut caffeine earlier in the day. If you're having your last coffee of the day at 4 or 5 p.m., that's not going to help you sleep. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and free from electronics that can disrupt your natural sleep cycle. Blue light from screens can interfere with melatonin production, making it harder to fall asleep. Set a consistent bedtime and wake time, even on weekends. Illustrates that maintaining regular sleep patterns is central to sleep quality and aligning our circadian rhythm, as supported by a 2024 review by Desai and colleagues. Over time, this routine can lead to deeper, more restorative sleep and improved overall health. 5. Manage stress. Modern dad life can be stressful between work deadlines, bills, putting up with the kids, TikToks, and stepping on the occasional Lego. It's a lot to handle. While stress is a normal part of life, chronic stress keeps cortisol levels elevated for longer than necessary. Cortisol isn't inherently bad. It helps us respond to challenges and stay alert. However, when it remains high, especially in conjunction with poor sleep, cortisol can lead to increased cravings and emotional eating. Elevated cortisol can also interfere with recovery from workouts and reduce muscle protein synthesis, making it more difficult to build muscle or lose fat. Managing stress through sleep, movement, and downtime isn't just good for your mind. It's essential for your physical health, too. Better stress outlets than ice cream. Short workouts, walking outdoors, meditation or deep breathing, saunas, hobbies that aren't Netflix. Avoid these common excuses. Many people claim that they don't have the time to live a healthy lifestyle. Having a family, job, and other responsibilities means that they're destined for a dad bod, but it doesn't have to be that way. Do any of these excuses below sound familiar? If so, stop it. They're not doing you any favors. I don't have time to train. Reality, you have 168 hours a week. 2 one-hour sessions are 1–2% of your week. You can make time if you want to. It's just genetics. Reality, genetics influence how you store fat, but not the basic equation of calories and training. I'm too old to get in shape. Reality, muscle and strength gains are possible at any age. The limiting factor is often belief, not biology. Healthy eating is too expensive. Reality, so is takeout 3 times a week. Eggs, oats, frozen veg, chicken thighs, and rice are cheap and effective. Final thoughts and key takeaways. Avoiding a dad bod isn't achieved by a 6-week shred. It's about building healthy habits so ingrained they run on autopilot. Think of your lifestyle as a financial portfolio. Muscle mass is your savings account. The more you have, the more metabolic interest you earn. Cardio fitness is your insurance policy. Keeps your heart, lungs, and energy in check. Good nutrition is your steady income. Keeps everything running in a healthy condition without going broke, or in this case, gaining fat. If you have these 3 assets, you can enjoy flexibility, like the occasional fast food or an extra beer at a barbecue, without spiraling into dad bod territory. Avoiding the dad bod isn't about having an obsession with getting a six-pack of abs. It's about staying capable, confident, and healthy enough to enjoy life, while looking good with your shirt on or off. Your kids will remember you playing with them in the yard and keeping up, and you'll feel amazing being able to run, lift, and keep up without bending over, gasping for air. So make the small choices that stack up over time. Lift weights twice or more a week. Move every day. Eat mostly healthy food and try to avoid snacks. Minimize stress and sleep as best you can. It's not complicated. It's just work. But if you keep doing it, you'll look and feel like a superhero instead of a retired one.